morning, everyone. Happy September. Welcome you joining today's 2021 REALTOR Safety Summit. I'm Pauline Lam from Cotai Realty, your 2021 co-chair Education Committee, West and Gabriel Valley Realtors. I would like to thank our 2021 President, Mindy Ye, Education Committee members, our special speakers, and all of you to make this summit possible. Thank you. Before the meeting starts, all participants will be muted in the meeting, and should you have any questions, please enter it into the chat box. The speaker will answer your question during each Q&A section. This section is being recorded and will be available on the YouTube channel, West and Gabriel Valley Realtors. Now, at this time, I would like to invite our 2021 President, Mindy Ye, to say a few words. Take it away, Mindy.
Thank you, Pauline. Good morning, WSGVR family and friends. Welcome, and thank you for joining our 2021 REALTOR Safety Summit. We have a very informative presentation to share with all of you this morning. I would like to thank our special guest speaker today, Lieutenant AJ Rotella, our very own Albert Tran, Executive Officer, and Mario Manzanilla. I would also like to thank our Education Committee and staff for working very hard to provide you with our members with safety, where our members comes first. With that, Pauline, back to you.
Thank you, Mindy. Now, I would like to have our Mr. Mel Wang, Education Committee member, and he also our past president, to introduce you our first very special speaker, Lieutenant Anthony Rotella. Mel, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Pauline. You know, this gives me a great honor of introducing our speaker, who has over 30 years of law enforcement experience. Lieutenant Rotella has held many different roles of responsibility in one of the nation's largest public safety organizations. He created and managed the Sheriff's Business Alliance program out of the Santa Clarita Valley area, which connected the business community with law enforcement. While it established great relationships between the government and its constituency, it also provided monthly educational courses to enhance the safety and security of those that did business in the area. Lieutenant Rotella has his master's degree in public administration from the California State University, Northridge, and a master's instructor certification from the California State Commission on Peace Officers, Standards and Training. Now let's welcome Lieutenant Rotella and thank him for volunteering his valuable time and experience in this presentation on REALTOR safety. Just be aware that the life you save could be yours. So take it away, Lieutenant.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you to a topic called Real Estate Safety, Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design. This presentation will complement the great training program, which will be provided next by Mr. Albert Tran. As you are all real estate professionals, Mr. Tran and I hope to offer information on how you can limit the risk and preserve your personal safety, and obviously to continue to achieve those great business results that you have in your business. As an introduction, my name is Anthony Rotella. I'm currently serving as a lieutenant for the LA County Sheriff's Department. I've been asked by members of your association if I could virtually come in, obviously since this is hosted over a web conference, and share some of my 32 years of law enforcement experience with you, and provide you an opportunity to ask some questions, and I can help answer it for you. From patrolling communities such as Compton or West Hollywood to managing patrol resources, I've worked as a service area lieutenant to such areas as Malibu, Calabasas, Hidden Hills. I would say that I've had a very, very diverse career, from patrol to public information, from youth services to internal auditing, But I'll tell you that one of my most favorite assignments was the 4 years I spent in the city of Santa Clarita as a business relations sergeant. This specific job allowed me an opportunity to network with huge business communities that we had in the area. We addressed specific needs of their many industries. I acted as a liaison between government and the private sector. I looked for policies and programs that benefited those businesses, and I provided training that was industry specific. Even as I wind down my career with the Sheriff's Department and prepare now to retire, I will always seek to provide service to the community. I know that a key component to reducing crime is through education, such as this course, and information provided to you to understand the current trends and issues that we face today. I'm honored to be here today. I'm volunteering my time to provide you with some of my experience and knowledge in an effort to help us reduce crime in our community. I know just how important these training seminars can be. As mentioned, I would host monthly business training classes in Santa Clarita that covered many topics. They might involve banks one month on robbery prevention, car dealerships on fraud prevention, or bars and restaurants discussing responsibilities that they have when serving alcohol. Tell you one of my most favorite memories is that we had a class involving retail fraud. And I brought in a subject matter expert, which I believe is known to your association, named Sergeant Dana McCants. He's with the Sheriff's Department's Commercial Crimes Bureau. Through his presentation, we provided valuable information on how to understand the ways criminals operate today, common fraud schemes, tools used to commit fraud, as well as other information. Weeks following the class, I received a telephone call from a manager of a Banana Republic store who needed some advice. She had seen some strange trend where every week in her store, she was selling approximately $1,000 in merchandise to two people who were shopping together, and they always paid by check. Later in the week, she would get a similar return of about $1,000 from a different store location with different customers, and again, the purchase was made by check. This began a substantial investigation where more than 30 suspects were ultimately identified, and a loss of more than $300,000 had been created by these fraudsters. The company quickly changed its policies to protect themselves and immediately stopped taking checks throughout all of their stores, such as Old Navy and Gap. While this example may not apply to the real estate industry, it is a clear example of how a little bit of information, training if you will, can identify suspicious activity and save your company, your clients, and yourself from being a victim. Many of you have safety concerns working in this industry. While the industry is largely safe, it does present opportunities for those seeking to defraud and to do harm. So this leads us to the important topic of real estate safety, crime prevention through environmental design. And what exactly does that fancy title mean? Each of us has the opportunity to lower our risk through assessing our own weaknesses, as well as knowing our strengths. The environment that we create or maintain, whether it's in an office, at home that you're listing, or your personal residence, is a place that you can assess to see if are any ways to better protect yourself and your business interests. I'm guessing that you would agree that success becomes success or becoming successful is one of the reasons you entered real estate. But to project success to your clients or potential clients is not only acting the part or knowing the part. It's not simply that you are the most knowledgeable person on real estate matters. It is a great amount to do with how you present yourself. If we can we go back a slide? I think there's another slide. Okay, now we can, so how we can present ourselves. Yeah, I've had the opportunity to meet several real estate agents in my life, both professionally and personally, and I don't remember anyone pulling up to a meeting in a 25-year-old broke down two-seat car. You can go to the slide there. Instead, agents generally exude success through dressing sharply, wearing nice jewelry and watches, driving the latest model of high-end sedan like a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW. Just as potential clients look to these signs as successful indicators, someone who sells a lot of properties and makes a lot of commission, allowing them to purchase these fine luxuries, so do the criminals who are out there looking for victims. You can change the slide, Tom. So how we present ourselves is a sign not only to the customers that we're trying to bring in, but also to those crooks that are out there looking to scam or steal. Today's world is very challenging. As much of a tool and necessity as the internet has become, it's also a criminal's playground. We share far too much information about ourselves on the internet. Many tend to mix their personal information with their business life. You can change the slide, please. We expose ourselves in a marketing effort to sell properties by putting our faces and information all over the internet, our billboards, bus stops, flyers, mailers, social media, and anywhere else we might introduce ourselves to our future clients. While this is necessary in today's business world, it's equally important to understand the risks associated with those platforms to protect yourselves from those that prey upon others. I know that Albert will be covering systems and tools in the next session, which will help you establish a safer environment. But I wanted to remind you of one of the most important safety devices that you typically hold in your hand. You can switch the slide. That's your cell phone. One of the biggest issues, and in most cases frustrates our law enforcement, is that people see suspicious activity. Sometimes they fail to report it. Your phones are capable of snapping photos or videos of suspicious activity, car license plates, people. They're an important part of your life and should be available immediately without the need to dig around in your purse, your bottom of your briefcase, or a bag. Knowing the non-emergency numbers for your local police or sheriff station is highly recommended and should be put in as a contact in your cell phone. I know through your association that your agents are working in a variety of the communities in the West San Gabriel Valley. So you could be moving from a city like Covina to West Covina, and you could have different police agencies that are responsible for protecting you. So it's important to know what city you're in and have those contacts for the basic law enforcement needs that you would have out there. So knowing the basic information on what city you're in and what agency is responsible is extremely helpful. If you have a smartphone, which I'm guessing that 99.9% of you do today, the Sheriff's Department has a mobile app that you can download for free. I actually have a picture of it displayed in the slide. On this app, it locates you, in addition to many other resources it provides, but the app actually locates you and can provide you with the agency responsible for in the area that you're in. So if you're moving around from one part of the valley to another, that app will actually tell you based on your location what agency to call. And then you can quickly find that information. And from the app, you can actually push the button and it will automatically call the agency that's responsible in the area. The other issue is knowing when to call the regular business line for non-emergency matters and when to call 911. I got to remind people that 911 is for emergency use. And in areas covered by the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, the initial call will be answered by the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department and then transferred as needed to other agencies such as the Highway Patrol or the Fire Department. The other great thing about 911 today is that it geolocates you when the calls come in. So even if you don't know exactly where you are, the 911 operator usually can see your location on a map and get the help to you. This is also a huge help when people use cell phones to make bogus calls to 911, which is commonly known as swatting. This is where they try to send police services to the wrong address, usually done as a prank on another person or to harass another person by having law enforcement go to their home. If they use a cell phone, we can easily see that they're calling from the same area that they're requesting a response.
Great thing about a lot of the Power Program content is that there's multiple purposes, and even sometimes
what many do not know is that you can actually text to 911. That's an interesting technology that started about 5 years ago. While this is mainly set up for deaf and hearing impaired persons, it is a tool for you to remember if you are ever in a situation where you do not feel that you can talk to an operator. You simply have to open up a text window, type 911, and then a message. The phone will know exactly which agency to route your call or text to. As our phones geolocate us using the cell towers, they also point us to the right agency. If you're on a freeway, for example, your calls would be routed automatically to the Highway Patrol. Again, try to refrain from using 911 unless it is absolutely an emergency. But please know that help is just fingertips away if using your phone. So if we can switch the slide. Many of you may remember the news report from September 2019 when a real estate agent from the West San Fernando Valley was attacked. While these attacks such as this are not an occurrence, thankfully, or a common occurrence, thankfully, it's a great reminder on how important it is to be prepared and to protect your personal safety. So if we can watch this video.
The real estate agent attacked during an open house in Encino, California, screaming for her life. The suspect posing as a potential buyer at first. Here's ABC's Clayton Sendell now.
The attack in broad daylight. A man showing up to an open house in Encino, California, violently shoving a real estate agent to the ground, allegedly groping her, then running away. The agent, who asked us to hide her identity, says the suspect got agitated when she wouldn't go inside with him.
Go, you saw the house, you're done, that's it.
She also says she'd seen the man here a week earlier and that he made her nervous. So on Sunday, she had a friend come with her, but that friend left just before this attack.
I was so lucky. I had a feeling from day one that this person can hurt me.
A security camera captured the man's face. Now the cops want to capture him. The realtor suffered scrapes and bruises. That suspect is still out there, and detectives say they need the public's help to find him. David?
All right, Clayton Sendell, thank
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show.
So it only took a few days for the police to catch up with the suspect. He was a local 45-year-old man who, during the investigation, it was discovered that he attacked this 51-year-old real estate agent in Encino, as well as up to 4 other women in the area, including real estate agents. Just a follow-up to it, because some have seen this story, in July of 2020, the charges against this man were actually dropped by the court after the court determined he was mentally incompetent to stand trial. Which leads me to the next issue is we have, this is an example of the two significant issues that our community faces today, mental health and homelessness. Does anyone know what the largest mental health facility in the country is today? I'm certain you did not guess that it was the Los Angeles County Jails. Our local jail system, which has a daily population of a little over 14,000 people, has up to 3,500 inmates on a daily basis who are being treated for some form of mental health issue through the Department of Mental Health and the county's health department. We see how this issue is affecting our community through the increased numbers of homeless persons on the street, setting up encampments, or possibly looking to unoccupied properties for shelter. In some cases, these individuals will look for items in our neighborhoods to steal simply to survive. Most experts will agree that the mental health crisis that we face today has a great impact on our homeless crisis, where alcohol and drug dependency is a large issue that these individuals struggle with. And our system struggles to guide them to services and back to health. Resolving these issues are complex, and we cannot simply force someone into a shelter or into a rehabilitation clinic. In and of itself, homelessness is not a crime. So the great work being done by a number of government agencies in conjunction with local nonprofits and healthcare providers are working tirelessly to change the lives of those that have these chronic challenges of homelessness. The LA Sheriff's Department, for example, has a homeless outreach services team, or HOST for short, which some of you may have seen in action recently on the Venice Beach Boardwalk, as it was covered in the news. While this issue became news and somewhat controversial between the jurisdictions of the City of Los Angeles and County of Los Angeles, it did further expose the challenges we face today as a community. Many law enforcement agencies have been directing resources and training towards homeless and mental health issues in an effort to make a positive difference in these people's lives and to help resolve some of the issues and complaints from our community members. This is an important issue to cover, as it may be something you have to deal with. You may arrive to your office and find someone sleeping on your doorstep or in your alley. You may go to a vacant home for a showing and find someone has entered through an unlocked window or home or door and is using the home for shelter. So you can see how very important it is that you follow personal safety etiquette when in your office, showing properties and appointments. Also, realize the role that you play could be a huge benefit and marketing tool that when you meet a prospective listing customer. So in my personal life, I've met 5 listing agents, and I don't remember any of these listing agents ever sitting down with me and discussing what they were going to do to protect me as a client. Well, they may have instructed me on how to clean up the inside of my home to prepare for an open house, which I'll tell you went into great detail. They failed to tell me how they would protect my home while strangers walked throughout my residence. They could have and should have talked to me about hiding my valuables, locking jewelry and weapons in safes, removing personal information from visible areas. There are many things that an agent can and should do to protect their clients. And tell me though, if that would not be a terrific advantage to you when you pitch your next listing. For this, you have to be prepared and know the various ways you can protect your clients and their valuable property. Since identity theft has been a problem for years, letting them know how important you safeguard their information and protect them from using any of their records that would compromise their identity is a great point to help you with your clients. Tell you that identity theft is a huge, huge problem in our world. It's not going to go away. One reason is that we see fewer bank robberies today. Remember in the news in the 80s, we used to see these big bank robberies in the North Hollywood Bank of America shooting. We see fewer bank robberies today than in the past is because a person can simply compromise your identity and take far, far more money. And they do this with relatively less risk of getting caught and far less jail time. So it's absolutely vital to you that you protect your personal and electronic information from an intrusive online world. If you do not have a personal document shredder at your home, it is time to go buy one. And not the cheap one that makes those nice long strips that can easily be formed back together and taped back together. You should invest in a cross cutter and take anything with your name or personal information on it, shred it up in tiny little pieces. And if you can advance the slide, please. That means that any old checks, bank statements, papers with your name on it, unless it's junk mail that has coupons from your local grocery store, consider putting it through a shredder. I know that every few years I go through my home office here that I'm sitting in, and I start spring cleaning. I always seem to put together boxes of old papers. I don't know where it comes from. It's like I have papers coming out my ears sometimes. And I'm finally getting rid of the old tax records from 2001 that for some reason are still in a drawer, or old bills or documents from home purchases, from an old home purchase from 10 years ago. At some point, these records are obsolete and contain sensitive information that I don't want to have out in public. So I go and pack up these documents and I find a local shredding place that shreds documents. Some of our local office supply stores do it, for example. I pay a few dollars to ensure that they're properly shredded and all my information is not out there. Ensuring the data is secure for both your business and your clients is also an important issue. There have been cases where a fraudster has come into a business during a meeting and has created a need or excuse to use your computer. While at the computer, the person can place malware on your system. Within minutes, a program can be embedded into your network that ultimately holds your data and network hostage, something called ransomware. And you'll hear about this on the news every once in a while where a company gets shut down. Just as large companies get taken advantage of through this ransomware, so do smaller companies that don't hit the news. So, and people can embed files that could simply monitor your computer, transmit sensitive data to them remotely. Other fraud has allowed them to either send out emails to others from the company servers or collect any emails or contact information your system might have and send it to them. Just think about how much damage one person could do if they had access to your computer data. Protecting your data is as important as locking the front door of your office or home when you leave to go out. You would not give the stranger a key to your home, so please, please do not give them the keys to your data. Password protecting your computers and having them automatically lock after several minutes of non-use is one way to keep desktops safe. This also relates to client files and information that may be left out on desks or unsecured files. So those are all ways that we all need to work to keep our identity and those identities of those people that we care about safe. So I wanted to talk to you about the complexity of real property crimes and how it relates to law enforcement. Since scam artists are out there, they operate profitably in this complex world of real estate and finance. The fine print contracts, the obscure procedures of these transactions, they mask their crimes and make it very, very difficult for the average police officer or deputy sheriff who comes to take a report. Due to the complexities of these transactional crimes, many field officers have a very difficult time understanding and sorting out the details to see if a crime actually occurred. We know that real property crimes reported in Los Angeles County have soared greatly due to the increase in value of the real estate market and the ease in which it is to have these crimes be committed. The crimes that we in law enforcement encounter often take on many faces, from suspects who forge signatures on grants or quitclaim deeds, then commit loan fraud to obtain money from the equity, to suspects who seek out abandoned homes in foreclosure, change the locks and rent them out to unsuspecting victims. There are suspects who con unsuspecting elderly victims out of their homes through forgeries, and large-scale investment pyramid schemes that involve real property. As part of every recorded deed that's filed in the County of Los Angeles, a portion of those fees associated with the transaction are dedicated to the investigations of real estate fraud. And there's two great resources available that I wanted to share with you. You can change the slide. And I'll hold these up so you can write them down, or the slides available on your system. But these are two great resources that are available in the LA area. So I've given you the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department's Commercial Crimes Bureau, based in Whittier, and the Los Angeles County Department of Consumer Affairs Real Estate Division. These two agencies work together to investigate crimes related to real property, and they are absolute experts in their field. They investigate crimes such as forgery or a deed, false personation in obtaining residential loans, rent skimming, foreclosure bailout schemes, financial abuse of elderly involving real estate, and home equity schemes. And then what I'd like to do, if I could, is give you some basic information on some of the schemes that are commonly found out there today. So if you can change the slide. So we'll go over quickly some of the three basic fraud schemes that are out there that you might see in your market. Foreclosure bailout, these are where scam victims are lured by the premise of help for those that are upside down and owe more money on that home than it's worth. These bailout specialists usually target non-English speaking victims. The bailout specialist tells the homeowner that the bank prefers to take a loss rather than take the home back on foreclosure. The homeowner is told he's being offered an opportunity to arrange for a short sale of the house, and this will have no effect on his credit or credit rating. The plan is usually for homeowners to deed his or her home to the specialist for a fee of about $1,000 to $2,500. The specialist then either rents out the house or lets the now former homeowner live there for a modest rent. The bailout specialist does not arrange for a short sale and fails to make the payments of the mortgage, resulting in the foreclosure and the eviction of the tenants. The bailout specialist usually pockets the advance fee and all rental payments. And while it may seem on the surface as perfectly legal, the small print on the documents reveal warnings that his or her credit may suffer, and that the bailout specialist is not bound to successfully process a short sale. So it's sad because people are losing their home when they're at the worst time in their financial lives. Rental fraud is a scam out there where these fraudsters are renting homes that they don't even own. They locate an abandoned home, and maybe a foreclosure, or maybe it's a vacation home not in use. They enter the home, change the locks, and advertise the property for rent, usually below the market rent, the market rate out there. Usually unsuspecting victims show up. They give a deposit, first and last month's rent, and ready to move in. Sometimes they'll even rent to multiple people at the same time. And then the suspect is in the wind, and we never know who it is that set this up. And then home equity thefts. People who have built up equity in their homes are ripe targets for a variety of confidence games. High-pressure home improvement contractors offer elderly homeowners unnecessary, overpriced improvement on easy credit. Slick salesmen may offer to refinance the home at attractive interest rates to provide cash to the homeowners and pay off bills. And our victims are reporting that they are being asked to sign blank contracts that they don't even are not even allowed to read these contracts before signing, and they're not given copies of the contracts. Only later does the victim realize that the contract contains terms completely different than what they were promised, and that the person just walks away with their money. So the homeowner may be faced with loan payments he cannot afford, and the principal is generally due in a balloon payment after a few years. So criminals can commit outright forgery to gain control of loan proceeds. It's and then one other thing I wanted to really quickly cover is these straw buyer scams. Scam artists find a way to cash out equity of real property, trusting them to use creative financing. They may employ phony straw buyers, crooked escrow agents, real estate appraisers, and notary publics. The scam artist asks the straw buyer to sign loan documents using his or her good credit. Scam artist pockets the loan proceeds and fails to make the loan payments. And then the straw buyer is out of all their money, and their credit is ruined, and they're now obligated to pay the loan. So I guess you can see that this is only one part of protecting yourself in the industry. It's a complex problem that we all face, where there are plenty of fraudsters out there in our community looking for their next victims. You are a big part of protecting the industry. You're a big part of protecting yourself and your clients, your company, and the community from being victimized. I hope that this information was both informative and helpful. It is possible that a business transaction may come across your desk similar to that incident that happened with Banana Republic. Something may come across your desk that just makes your senses tingle and question its authenticity. Knowing that there are resources available to help you protect yourself and prevent crime is one big part of this equation, so that you're not compromised in your business and continue to be very successful in your real estate. And if you could change the slide. I want to thank you for your time and attention at this, and I'll open it up to any questions you might have. Hopefully I can help you.
Okay, good morning, Officer Rotella. I have in the chat 2 questions for you. One being, how do we report spams? I have received several suspicious emails and I do not respond to them. I wonder how we can report those.
Well, that's the problem right now with spam, especially with email. And I've noticed, and you may have also, getting quite a few spam texts. And these texts say, AT&T, we're sorry for a outage slowdown on September 28th. Please see this for a valuable coupon. Anything that's got a link to it, you need to avoid. Emails, depending on where they're coming from. If they're coming from your bank, from Amazon, generally with companies, what you'll see with spam is they don't know who we are. So what they'll do is they'll say at the introduction of the emails, hello, or they'll use somebody else's name. Generally, when my bank or a business that I do business with, when they interact with me, they always address me by my name. They usually have my account number associated with the email. Now, for the most part, I just delete this spam email because there's not much that you can do with it. Certain emails that say that my bank account's been compromised or my Apple account has been compromised, there are certain websites, if you want to take the time, you can forward those emails to the company that it's related to. So Apple, for example, has a spoof, SPOOF, at apple.com. Most big companies, Wells Fargo and Amazon, have web security teams that look at spam mail so that they can go after these these fraudsters and try to block them from doing what they're doing. The other thing is with these phone texts that come up all the time, I mean, I'm getting them daily now, is if you're on most servers like AT&T, you can actually forward the text to 7726, and 7726 spells out spam. And you can actually report to AT&T the text that's coming in. And what that does is it blocks that number from their system. Once they identify it as spam, they'll block it so no one else becomes a victim. But these are things that are important for you to look at as you conduct your business, because unfortunately, there's just so many people out there looking to defraud us. It's hard to see everybody in this virtual room because it's the way it's set up. I'm only looking at a few people in a row. But is anybody registered with the National Do Not Email Registry? Okay, the problem with the National Do Not Email Registry is there's no such thing. And so what that is it's actually a scam to collect your data. And so people will email you in a what looks like a really official channel, and they say you need to tell us everything about yourself so that we can prevent other people from spamming you. And all we've done is just shared our information. Now, there is a National Do Not Call Registry. It's very different. You go that on the computer, and that tells the telemarketers to leave you alone. And there's some actions you can take to limit them, and you can also even sue. There's a whole, it sounds like a lot of work to try to get them to stop calling. I wish they'd stop calling me, that's for sure. And I wish the spam would be out there, but recognizing, most important is just recognizing what spam looks like and ignoring it. If you have any questions or if you're concerned about it, don't click any links. If you think it's not from if it's something communication from your bank, don't enter any personal information. If somebody says your password's been compromised, put your password in, click here, you're waiting for a package. There's so many scams out there. So I would just say is don't use those links. Go right to your, call your bank, call Amazon if you need to get verification it's true.
Quick question for you. Can you give us from me? Can you give us the difference between the do not call list that you said we shouldn't have contacted versus the other one that is good?
Okay, so there's a National Do Not Call Registry, and you can just Google it, and it is supposed to advise telemarketers to leave you alone. Okay. But I'll tell you this much is that for some crazy reason, I'm still daily getting calls for I mean, how many people have gotten auto insurance? Your auto warranty is expired daily. I've got a leased car. I'll never have a warranty issue when the lease is over. Now, depending on your time, you're most likely you're all busy people. I've got a little more time on my hands as I prepare to retire. You know what I do? I sit there and waste their time. I figure the longer I can stay on the phone with them, the less people they're out there harassing. And usually they get frustrated, and I'll have a laugh and I hang up on them. But most people that are calling you are either not legitimate or they're just telemarketing you. Here's another thing to be concerned about. No one from a government agency, and I hope to share this, and please share this with all your friends. No one from a government agency will call you for anything. They're not going to call you from the Social Security office telling you that your Social Security has been compromised. I get these calls weekly, and I'm a cop. And it's so funny because I'm sitting there thinking, these people are idiots. Somehow it's always, it seems like a certain part of our world are calling us, and the call always is scripted the exact same way. And they're calling me that somehow a car I rented in Texas has had drugs and blood and all this other stuff, and my Social Security has been compromised. And they've suspended my Social Security account. Again, depending on my time, I'll mess with them. Sometimes I'll be a little curt or rude. Sometimes, I don't know, it depends on my mood is how I respond to them. But the one important thing is, please, no government agency, the sheriff's department's not going to call you and say you missed jury duty. That's another scam out there. There are scams about we call it virtual kidnapping. They're going to call you and they're going to say that they're pretending that they're a family member, that they've kidnapped your daughter, your niece, your mother, and they're going to say, hey, we're holding the person ransom. And in order to get them back, you need to go to a store and get gift cards. I mean, those are things. I mean, if you don't pay this ticket, you have a ticket for you for speeding that you didn't know about. If you don't go and get gift cards, blue dot to whatever they call it, green dot gift cards, and Walmart. I mean, these should be red flags, but unfortunately, people do fall victim for it every day.
Thank you. Now, I have another question here. Does the 911 text, is it the same as 911 call?
Absolutely. Same people get the call.
Okay.
So we're sitting in
All
a
right.
terminal, and I've worked 911 several times. From being a deputy to a sergeant to a lieutenant, I always enjoyed jumping in just to keep fresh on the 911 system and to see what what my deputies had, were going through. Sometimes we just needed an extra hand in there, and because I remembered how to work it, I'd get on the call. But we do get all the texts. It's a great system, especially with using cell phones, because the majority of people today have cell phones and not home phones. So.
Thank you. One last question here. So the national do not call registry is legit. How do we know it's legit site and not a copycat?
It's run by a government organization. So it's and the telemarketers, and there's something called the Telecommunications Consumer Protection Act, TCPA. And that's another thing I keep in the back pocket of my vocabulary, TCPA. I'll tell you, if you ever talk to one of these telemarketers that are calling you up and you just mention those four initials, TCPA, you want to see that phone call hang up real quick? Because they know that TCPA protects you if you're on the registry from being called. And so they could be civilly harmed, meaning that you could sue them for money for that phone call. So a lot of times I'll just mention, is this a violation of the TCPA? And the next thing is like, that's the end of the phone call. So
You said TCPA?
TCPA, Telecommunication Consumer Privacy Act. It's a federal law that prevents them from contacting you unsolicited.
Perfect. And I think that's all the questions that we have. I thank you very much for your time and information.
Not a problem.
We all thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
I turn it over now to Pauline.
Before we leave, I think we should thank Buck Stapleton for arranging for AJ Patella to come on this conference call. Thank you.
Hi, Buck. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We do learn a lot, and then learn how to alert ourselves in our environment, and especially for the high tech, how to protect our data, right? And see through every email, every text, and be careful. Don't answer, say, hey, Mindy say, Pauline, I need $20. Can you text me? No, I need to call Mindy first, right? Thank you so much, Lieutenant Rotella. We're so happy to have you today. I don't know, can you stay with us until another two sections?
Absolutely, I'd love to listen more and
Got it. Thank you so much. Let's give a big round of applause to Lieutenant Anthony Rotella for the first section. Right now, I want to invite our Education Committee member, Bernadette, to introduce our second speaker. Bernadette, the floor is yours.
Hi, I'm Bernadette Burkhead with Pinnacle Real Estate Group. I'm honored to introduce our West St. Gabriel Realtors Executive Officer, Albert Tran. Since July 2010, Albert has been working closely with staff implementing our Board of Directors' vision. He has 4 NAR designations and 4 certifications like RCE, CIPS, ePro, and AHWD. He is an NAR instructor teaching ePro, AHWD, Real Estate Safety Matters, and Real Estate Investing courses. Albert is tech savvy and experienced with the real estate board business. Prior to joining WSGVR, he worked as a director of training and technology services for the California Association of Realtors from 1999 to 2010. During that time, he promoted the zip form software and education courses throughout the state of California. He was an information technology consultant for California State University, Los Angeles from 1996 to 1999. He modernized the university library, computer systems, and developed the first university library internet used by the faculty and staff in 1997. He was an adjunct professor in the computer science department of California State University, Long Beach, and continuing education department between 1997 and 2002. Albert has bachelor's degree in computer science and mathematics, master's degree in computer science, and MBA degree. Albert has been volunteering for CAR and NAR since 2012. Let's welcome Albert. Albert, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Verde. First of all, I would like to thank Lieutenant AJ. The information that you give our members is incredible, very informative. I learned a lot from you as well. And also congratulations to him that he already become NAR instructor teaching realtor safety class. Maybe we'll bring him in next year to teach our class instead of me. He has a wealth of information, and I feel I'm so behind because I'm not an officer or a realtor. I just a staff person for association. But thank you again for your incredible presentation. Before I get started with the PowerPoint that NAR put together, I would like to run this video. It lasts about 6 minutes. I just thought about it. This is a very timely video that we should all learn from. And I just put it out in I think in July or August. And I think everybody should look at it and check this out. Let me see if I can run the video. Just give me 1 second and to share the screen with you. So please bear with me.
Member safety is a matter of your life or your death.
I never in my wildest dreams thought I'd be in a situation to where I would have a 9mm held to my head.
It was a day like any other when James Olson, an agent with more than 35 years' experience, set out to meet a blind lead at a vacant property, something he had done countless times before.
I was actually with my wife on the way to an appointment. I had never met this person, and she was sitting on the front porch waiting for me, and I just told my wife to wait in the car. We walked through the living room, the dining room, and the kitchen. Now, I've been in this property a number of times, and it just seemed odd to me that all the doors were closed. So I went to grab the bedroom door, and out came a masked gunman holding a 9mm to my head. He was all dressed in black like a ninja. He had a hoodie on, sunglasses, face mask, black gloves, black everything. Within a couple seconds, another guy dressed the same held a 9mm up against the side of my head. I had my hands up in the air, and he said, "Get down to the floor." So I took his gun, and he hit me in the back of the head. I went falling to my knees. Blood was flowing in my eyes. They're asking me where the money is, and I told them I didn't have any, so they rifled my pockets and pulled my pants down and socks and shoes off, and they wound up making away with my wedding ring, my wallet, and my iPhone. They came back to me and said, "Give us 10 minutes or we're coming back here and killing you." These guys are out there, and if they attack me, more than likely they're going to be going after somebody else. This was a predatory assault. They didn't just randomly pick me, they stalked me.
Jim Olson was surveilled and targeted based on his job as collecting rents as a property manager. They knew what day to lure him into the property that was vacant so he could be robbed at gunpoint. Studies have shown that agent male victims were attacked 30% of the time. And we know with Jim Olsen, and he's a big burly man, infantry soldier, never was in fear that something could happen, and he was a victim of a violent robbery. And now, listen to his story, he changes the way he does business. He arrives at a home much earlier than the appointment time and does a circumference of the house to see if there's anything out of place or if there's any broken windows or forced entry.
Kitty Wallace, a managing broker with almost 20 years' experience, has faced off with numerous predators.
One of my most recent experiences was from a gentleman who wanted to see a home. I have a practice that I have them meet me at the office for the first time. This particular gentleman didn't want to meet me at the office, so that did put a red flag up for me.
Working in a rural area with limited cell phone reception, Kitty remained steadfast in her safety protocols, but the caller had a plan of his own.
He was very insistent, and it was, can you meet me there in an hour? And I said, no, unfortunately, I can schedule an appointment with you. We can sit down and see what your needs are. No, I want to see this house. And he said, okay, then meet me in 2 hours. He just kind of kept moving the time frame for me. And when that escalated and he wouldn't meet me, he ended up calling my office. He was swearing at me saying that, that's my job. I need to meet him here. What is my seller going to do when he finds out I won't show him this property, etc. And I just didn't let myself get bullied. I really stood my ground and didn't meet with him at all. I've always kind of just accepted it's part of the job, and that's really not okay. So I reported it to my local association, and they sent an email blast to all the agents. 2 other agents reached out to me, and they had also been approached by this gentleman. Maybe I prevented something bad happening not only to myself, but maybe somebody else as well. I do believe that the intent of some clients is not to buy a house. The intent is to see what they could do if they got me a loan.
Jim and Kitty's harrowing stories display the 2 types of predatory motives: profit and power and control.
There is a misconception that crimes against agents are random opportunistic street crime, and in fact, they're of predatory nature. And by understanding predatory behavior and learning that you can remove weakness, subservience, and vulnerability out of your daily practice, you'll be able to keep yourself safe.
I think realtor safety is one of the most important things that any realtor can learn about.
The goal of the Realtor Safety Program is to reduce the number of incidents in our industry so this way you can come home to your family every night. You deserve it and they deserve it.
I think having these protocols in place is definitely the key to saving my life. 99.9% of the time, our job is amazing. It's that 0.01% that's not worth my life.
Incredible stories to share. Let me just go ahead and start the presentation now. Before I start this presentation, I would like to share my personal experience with the realtor safety. Back in early 90s, I was helping my wife who was running a mortgage company back in 90s. So we get married and then we just bought a brand new Honda Prelude, red color, very attractive car, 2 doors. So it's like a high performance kind of thing. So I drove that car on at the appointment on behalf of my wife, who was the loan officer. And I go to one area, very nice area, to take loan application on her behalf. It was like 5:30 at night, summertime. 5:30 is still bright, and a lot of apartments in the area. And I still remember vividly at this point. So I park in one of the apartments, which is where the clients live. And I get out of the car, open up the trunk, get my briefcase, And of course, I have to wear a suit, just like, just like REALTOR, wear a nice suit and a nice car. And I get out, and all of a sudden, I heard in the back of my my head, and a couple of people stopped by. These two gentlemen drove a truck and stopped by my side. I kind of parked on the right-hand side. Of course, they approached me with a gun. The presenter carried the gun, pointed at my head at the time, and they didn't get out of the car. This is only their point, because I would just like get out and get close to the car, and they point exactly my head. Give me your wallet. This 90s, and I've been in the United States for about 10 years. My English still good, but I pretend I didn't know how to speak English pretty well. And I say, what do you say? I mean, in a very broken English at the time. And he said, give me your wallet and give me your car key. We just bought this car for about 1 year, so it's still brand new. So I hesitant to give it to him, and we live in Walnut back then. And if I give the car key, and I don't know how to get home from Van Nuys, back there's no Uber or anything like that, right? Only taxi. So probably very far away. And I hesitant to give them the car key. I gave them the wallet, which happened to have some cash in there with some of the credit card and Union gas card, Unions, which is 76. They don't want, they took the wallet as well as continue asking me for the car key. And I just kind of back out a little bit, but then suddenly some people walk out of the apartment. So the passenger told the driver, somebody here, so let's leave. So they left. So I was lucky, but my hand was shaking so much. I didn't know what I'm doing at the time. So I closed the door, went into the apartment, called it, the clients coming down. It's a gate apartment. They came down and they saw my face was completely white at that time, and they didn't know what's happening. And I keep telling them the story, and we went up to the second floor of their apartment, and they called the police come in. Police took the report. The first thing police said, are you crazy? Are you crazy? Why don't you just give them the car and your insurance is going to pay for it? Why did you fight with them? I was lucky. I thought my life is done back then, but I'm still alive. So please be careful what you do. Always watching surrounding when you walk, and don't drive very beautiful car if you go to see your clients. Nowadays you have Tesla and all those beautiful cars, so be really careful. Okay, that's a little story from my life, and it's a real story, and I'm still remember that story until now. So again, thank you very much for attending the REALTOR Safety class today. I just want to share with you this particular class here, very short, within an hour. Recently, NAR changed their title from REALTOR Safety Matter to putting REALTOR Safety First, safety strategy for the modern REALTOR. So the goal of this course, just like you saw the video, that to instill safety awareness and habits as a second nature, so that REALTOR, their clients and customer know how to respond to dangerous situations, so and avoid some kind of harm to them. The objective is to motivate you to realize your exposure to risk, follow safety best practices, learn how to quickly assess a potentially dangerous situation and take appropriate actions. Safeguard your own and your client's personal data. Encourage all agents and employees to follow safety best practice and company safety policy. This is kind of the entire REALTOR Safety course. Today, we look at a very only one portion of it. NAR break down into multiple class now. The REALTOR Safety class pretty much is reduce the number of safety incidents if occur in industry, and every REALTOR come home safe, just like the video say, safe to their family every single night. and a lot of resources that you can find on the Realtor, NAR Realtor.Realtor/safety website. So please take advantage of that. And would like to alert you to this particular program that NAR put out called C2EX, Committed to Excellence. A few years ago, NAR think that want to take Realtor into the next level, understand all aspect of the real estate. So they put out this program for free to members to take advantage of. I'm also the C2EX endorsed person. I went through this program, about 10 different tracks that you can select to go through. And then after you finish the program, they give you the destination for this. This is completely free, so please take advantage of that. So today we are talking about your personal safety, which is the first module of the entire course. So first module is your personal safety, and then next one's your office and college, buyer, seller, online, and your home and family. So NAR broke this down into 3 different sections to teach or to learn. First 1 hour only, which is the first portion, module number 1. And 3 hours is going to be 1, 2, 3, your personal safety, your office and college and buyers. And we don't have time for that because it's specifically designed for 3 hours class, or one can do a 6-hour course, which is all those 6 modules there you can see. The first 5 keys action for this course is strategy. So strategy is plan and prepare what you can do to avoid and escape risky situation. And then you learn all those best practice, emulate some proven safety practices, and learn from webinar video, which is we just saw earlier, some videos that NAR put together, or NAR has a ongoing webinar that you can learn from. You're a bookmark that particular website, NAR.Realtor/safety, and you can learn a lot of information about this. All this initiative was brought forward by NAR president back in 16 or 17, I think 17, when Beverly Carter was died. And this kind of triggered him to kind of put this program together for our Realtor member to be safe when you do your business. Learn and use your personal protection resource. Learn how to evaluate and choose the safety products and choose those that are right for you. Also improve the culture, safety culture. Support efforts to make every day Realtor Safety Day throughout your safety spheres. So those are the key action for you. Real estate is a very risky business. You can see that in the recent 2019 U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics show that 87 real estate professionals met with a fatal injury, and a group that including like a lesser real estate offices, real estate agents and brokers, and property managers. About 1/3 of fatal injuries, which is about 29 of them, were caused by violence and other injuries by person or animals. Not reflect in this statistic are numerous incidents that are never reported. For instance, like my case, the one that I have earlier, luckily the office come in and take a report, so that's kind of part of that. And I'm not sure if they categorize as a real estate professional or not. I was due on behalf of the mortgage at that time. Maybe it's not related to real estate, but pretty much similar to, it's happened to other industry as well. So it's not report. And when someone is harmed on the job, in a real estate job, wherever the incident happened, the entire community of real estate agents servers too. So why real estate is so risky? The first thing we mentioned earlier, drive a new car because you have an image of success, and meeting a known prospect at the property. In the eager to make a sale, many of us real estate agents meet buyers at the property without taking time to meet them at the office first. So that's a very important. If your company policy is, okay, before meeting the clients, make sure bring them into the office, at least verify this individual, who they are, take a picture of their driver license, and at least you aware of this individual. Working at unfamiliar properties at the art hour. Sometimes you work late at night or early in the morning. It's not like we do 9 to 5 jobs. So your time is flexible, but you work in different hours. Sitting in an open house alone. An open house presents risk of both real estate agent and the seller. Nowadays, a lot of technology will help you quite a bit when you do open house. For instance, you can get your phone to connect it to internet, and then at least you can see who's coming in, videotape them, or at least monitor them. So that's kind of help out a bit. Entering vacant properties, like foreclosure, vacant properties can be for squatters or criminal activity. In addition, unmaintained properties are prone to all sorts of injury hazard, from exposed wiring to Wi-Fi taking up residence. Okay. Also, driving with a stranger while multitasking. You're texting when you drive with them, and you become their server, take them around to different properties, and so on. Also, your marketing put you in the public eyes. When you have your business card, or you have pictures in the side writers, and all those stuff kind of attract people. And then you have an ad on the local newspaper, something like that. It depends on how you market it, and it's easy for predator to find you, to focus on you. Offering multiple ways to make contact, like most of the agents provide a variety of ways for prospecting to make contact. This essential business practice also opened the way for you with bad intention to make contact or hack into business website and emails. Handling clients' personal information. In the course of handling transaction, real estate agents collect a lot of information, including financial record about the clients. Transaction detail happen increasing online, with clients' data transmit and store information in the cloud, which has been very easy for hacker to hack, and also believe they're not at risk. So that's so let's see why did people say about others say about the threatening on the job. Only 23% say, okay, that's really a threat, but the other 70% not. And you look at the right finger, have been a victim of the crime while on the job. So common situation that cost fee, including open houses, vacant home, model homes, unlocked or unsecure properties in remote area. Now, 96% never been look at the right fingers and about those triangle. 96% never been a crime victim. But look at those 4, each red triangle. 1% victim of a robbery. 1% victim of identity theft. 1% victim of the assault. And 1 prefer not to talk about it. So it's still, out there. look at this particular figure here, what fear of personal safety or safety of personal information and mostly occur in the rural area and suburban area. Looks like metropolitan and small towns seems to be lesser than those rural and suburban. And when and where it's happened, 35% after threatening email, text messages, phone call, or voicemail. 70% during the open house. 7% marketing a new client for the first time at a secure location or property. 7% driving a client. 7% during the showing, and 3% meeting the new clients for the first time in the public place. So those are the statistics that NAR. Also meet a known prospect at the real estate office or the neutral location first. It's only 39% people say yes. It's still 61% say no. Okay. And more women than men have fear for their safety, 25%, and also 15% for the men. 58% use a smartphone app to track whereabouts. 49% carried a self-defense weapon. 38% have taken a self-defense course. 29% participate in REALTOR safety course. Like today, you are attending, I believe NAR collect all this data. When we submit your name to them, they collect it, and whether you're a REALTOR and so on, and they want to see the entire year how many REALTOR had taken the safety course. And as you know, September is the month that NAR dedicated as the REALTOR Safety Month. The most common types of self-defense weapon, look on the right-hand side, pepper spray, more women using it than men. Firearm, more men using it than women. Pocket knives, more men using than women. Teaser, 6% women using more than men. Baton, a club, men using more, 6% versus 4%. And battery operate noise maker, again, men using more there. Okay. Real estate brokers brokerage has standard procedure for agent safety. Yes, 55%, no 15%, the other 25% don't know. So make sure if you work for the real estate company, make sure they have some kind of standard procedure for this. And a lot of information can be obtained from NAR website at nar.realtor/safety, and the office can adopt some of those procedures there as well. Real estate office has standard procedures for safeguarding and proper disposal of the client's data. 67% say yes, but the other 8% say no, but looks like 33% know at this point. Some of them don't know whether they have or not disposal of their client data. You look at this formula. Okay, the law enforcement officer will tell you that crimes happen when motive and opportunity combine. The motive as well opportunity. If one of those broken, then you don't have crime, or maybe diminish the crime. So remove part of the equation, lessen the likelihood of the crime. Understand the criminal mind and motivation. So let's understand them here. Unlike us, criminal lack moral and ethical breaks on their conscience or behavior. For most crimes, the motive, quick money, access to drug, sexual gratification is a goal, and the victim is secondary. Following is a snapshot profile of the particular compared to the thief. Now, when you look at the motive, it's for predators, power, to have control, but for the thief, it's more profit. I want to make some profit out of here. Like they took away my wallet, there's some money there, or maybe take away my car. That's where they can turn around, sell it. Crime, assault, rape, murder, and in the deep part is burglary, robbery. Emotional, yes. Predator has emotional, theft, no emotional. Goal, isolate the victim. For the thief is be isolated. Decision making is fulfill emotional needs. Thief is potential profit versus risk. Sharpening your safety sense. All of us have a built-in safety sense, our survival instinct. Whether you call it institution, instinct, a gut feeling, a hunt, suspicion, our survival instinct is handwired into our sights. Learning to listen to your own institution, sharpen your innate safety sense. What does instinct feel like? Instant feeling don't always come with goosebumps, a pounding heart, or the soundtrack. Sometimes it can be the most commonplace of feeling. You look at the list that they give us here: nagging feeling, wonder, what if, anxiety, hunches, gut feelings, curiosity, doubt, hesitation, suspicion, apprehension, fear, and dark humor. Take a look at the 10-second safety scan. Take 2 seconds when you arrive at the property. Step out of your car, walk toward the property, arrive at the door, enter the property. Take 2 seconds to look around, scan it. Remember the acronym they put here. Remember power, parking your car, out of your car, walking to the property door, entering the property, reverse the scan step when leaving. In other words, when you're leaving, enter, reverse it. Enter property door, walk the property out the car, and so on. How to respond to threats. Denial, delay, this can be happening. Initial shock, denial, delay. Realize something is wrong, but unsure the threat or disbelief. How about deliberation? What do I do? You calculate the risk, do nothing and wait. Frantic thoughts, fright or fight. Fright or fight. Decision, oh, here's go. Coming to terms with our bad luck, reaching a decision moment, deciding what to do and taking action. In a dangerous or threatening situation, we quickly and consciously cycle back through the phases of denial, deliberation, and decision as we react to threats and dangers. Too often, we hunker down in denial and delay taking any action. The stronger defense here, the stronger defense is the plan that what you will do to avoid high-risk situation and what you will do if you find yourself in danger. Okay, written by Amanda Rayleigh. Look at this one, fight or fright. Depends on the combination of the factor. Whether you choose to escape a situation or fight back depends on the factors, like your physical capability or your proximity of the attacker, your presence of the weapon, or knowledge of the self-defense. In my situation, the sample I gave you earlier kind of apply to all of this. How far away am I from the attacker? And what the physical capability there, or whether they have a weapon, and whether I have a knowledge of self-defense. I have none of those self-defense knowledge. So I have to kind of, instead of fight back, I just kind of flight. Give my wallet away or give my car keys away. And that's the best way to take care of situation. So again, my suggestion more, escape the situation. The best approach to any threat is simply to leave. If your safety sense perceive the threat, act decisively and escape unharmed. You don't have to apologize for any behavior or announce your intention. Running away from danger and calling for help is as cautious as fighting back, and you don't need any special training to do so. The ability to escape situation may, however, be impacted by several factors as we state. Can you escape? Pretty much depends on the fitness level and stamina. How far can you run without stopping? The ability to escape a situation may depend on your fitness level and physical capabilities, as we talked about those factors earlier. Age, weight, and mobility can affect the ability to move quickly away from harm. Clothing. Are you wearing high heels? Or close-fitting clothing can impact quick movement. Before showing the property, change to low heel shoes you can run in. The alternative may be to run barefoot. Oh, that might be hurt if you run into some area has more rocks or something like that. But at least it's easier for you to escape. Turns and obstacle, whether prepared to sit and open house or show the property, you should scout out all the exit, understand all the exit and obstacle that could block and escape. Fences, walls, and swimming pools are obvious obstacles. Challenging terrains, rocks, steep hillsides, cliffs, and ravines can block escape routes too. How about safe location to run to? In an urban setting or busy suburban neighborhoods, the person running down the street barefoot and screaming is bound to attract attention. But what if the location is isolated? Running to your car parking for the quick getaway may be the best course of action. Lock the car door and leave immediately. When you reach area of safety, notify police and your office, or the police station nearby, go there. Fight back. So you try to defend yourself. Now you have to make a decision. Defense yourself depends on your physical strength and knowledge of self-defense. Fighting back should be a conscious decision when the escaping situation is not an option. Now, the next segment of this panel, you will hear more about self-defense. Can you dispute the situation? Buy more time to assess the situation, decide what to do. Appearing to go along with the attacker may buy more time. It might be possible to create distraction so that you can escape. On the other hand, an attempt to talk to an attacker out of the harming, you may trigger the emotion that justify in the predator's mind an attack. Remember, criminals and especially predators lack moral and ethical. In the situation, my sample earlier, my distraction to him is I keep saying I didn't know how to speak English. And then, but I was lucky though. I was lucky. If somebody is not coming rescue me by open the door at the apartment or the noise coming from the apartment, then I might be a victim. So it's kind of lucky in my sense. So you take the defense class. Of course, the benefits is rehearsal, simulate, confirmation. So it's good to repeat it so you know how to defend yourself. Learn to recognize and evaluate threats and improve your fitness. You gain more confidence to handle the threat, choose the right response, defend yourself, and comfy the responses. Of course, they teach you how to do all those stuff. So how to choose the self-defense class? You ask the family member any suggestion from family, friends, or colleges for suggestions. Sometimes you can ask from the health clubs, martial arts studios, YMCAs would be another one, and community college often offer this kind of classes. Observe the class, watch the class in progress before you sign up. So go there, watching them. Ask about the training goals. You should look for comprehensive training that teaches how to assess threat and choose the best course of action. How about match your fitness level? Observation of a class in action. Match your observation of the class in action help you choose the best training for your fitness level. And choose the group instruction. A group instruction offers advantage over one-on-one training. In a group, you can see your progress in comparison to your classmates. In addition, you can experience practicing with and observing the variety of the body type and skill levels of the other students as well. So group have a more advantage. Check for safety precautions. Look for the control environment and the use of padded safety equipment. Self-defense training typically requires some physical assertion, but it shouldn't put you at risk for injury. And last, no pressure environments. Encourage students to participate and stress beyond their comfort zone is normal practice. When we used to have office open and we have a self-defense class here, and members can really practice at our auditorium. Maybe in the future, we might do it again next year. Should you arm yourself? We're talking about firearm now. The decisions carry a weapon such as a firearm or defensive spray is a very personal choice. Make sure you comply to all state and local law. Follow the best practice for safety. Also learn to use the weapon for self-defense. Self-defense, that's a kind of emphasize that word there. Consider other option for self-defense weapon, which is a spray, baton, taser. As you recall earlier, we looked at the statistics show some of this equipment being used. So make sure you consider some of those too, besides the firearm. Once you get the firearm, if you choose to carry a weapon, you should learn how to use it properly for self-defense. A weapon becomes a liability if an attacker can take it away and use it against you. And looking for training that prepare you to use the weapon in the self-defense situation only. Shooting holes in the paper target at the firing range will teach you how to load and fire the gun, but it won't simulate the experience of using it for self-defense. Even if you are used to guns for hunting, using the handgun for personal protection is a very different experience. How about your cell phone? Your cell phone is your personal safety tool as well. Cell phone has a GPS that you can track real-time information on your location and movement. Perhaps you can share the location with your loved one if you are heading to appointment or something like that, or somebody in the office you can share with and they know exactly where you are. Texting. Okay, texting enable regular check-in with the office, friends, or family members. Update of what you do. Alert and alarm. Alert app that can set your time frame with the countdown for activity like showing the property, walking to your car in the parking lot, or driving to an appointment. So use some of these apps. Photo sharing apps can let you snap the photo, like you take a picture of the license plates and send it back to the office. Make sure you do that. That way somebody keep a record instead of just only on your cell phone. Civilian camera. So monitor apps connect a smartphone to the home security device like webcams and motion detector to keep the watch on the empty properties. Maybe it's something that you should consider if you list the property, it's empty property, you can consider put some kind of civilian cameras there to watch it. Something that portable that you can, is not permanently installed in that particular property. Once it's done, you can remove it and move on to the next property. Call blocker. When call ID is blocked on the incoming call, unblocking apps can reveal the source of the call and help alert you to suspicious calls. So think about that. Do you know the caller? You can be tricked into a conversation with someone you don't know. Scammer, fit up your reaction. Boy, don't we receive so many scamming calls, so many scamming email, as Lieutenant was talking about, every day. At home, and as well as my cell phone, even though I'm on a do not call list, but they continue calling you. Listen to your instinct. If you don't remember the caller, you probably never met them. Okay. How about call to 911? Earlier question about text to 911 is almost the same. Where did 911 call go? What's their response time? Can the emergency system locate you? Very important when you call 911, make sure the location. Make sure the location. If the GPS on might help a bit, but you know the location, then let the 911, the rep know exactly where you're located. Is the system GPS enabled? Can emergency operator call back? You know, just make sure your phone, give it your cell phone as well. Can the police provide extra patrol during open house event or around vacant properties? How and when should you report non-emergency? So 8 criteria here for choosing a safety product. The first one is the product should support behavioral and cultural change. Also, the product should be designed to prevent crimes against agent. And because predators follow behavior patterns, the product should be rooted in the behavior science. Alert emergency contact based on proximity. Alert order. It could be alerts contact based on their physical proximity to the agent issuing the alert. This criterion is important because their proximity determines how quickly they can get to the agent. The products should include 2 different alert types. One, alerts for when the agent is just uncomfortable and does not want to be alone with the suspect any longer, and emergency alert. So that's 2 types of alerts. The product must be condensed in so that the agent can use it without making legitimate prospect uncomfortable. Also, consider the ineffectiveness of the background check and social media check. The product must allow the agent to see red flags based on the prospect behavior and the reaction of others to that behavior. And lastly, the product should be integrated with a 911 and should provide a 911 operator the ability to determine the agent's location. Nowadays, our cell phone is kind of connected to it, you know, and myself, I use a Apple iPhone. When you swipe down or something like that, then it will allow you to get emergency call. So consider something like that. Auto safety, drive separately or be the driver. Okay, don't let other people drive. The Keep your car in the top opening condition. Keep roadside breakdown essential in the trunk, including like a flare, a tie, inflation canister, basic hand tools, spare belts and hoses, water, a flashlight, and of course, the most important thing is the first aid kit. So keep them in your trunk. Know where you are going, dress for the weather. Sometimes you, in California, probably better than some other state, they have a snow. So make sure you wear a properly dress for the weather. Avoid aggressive driver or road rage situation, such as somebody like a tailgating, flashing your lights, or honking your horn. If you encounter an angry driver, avoid eye contact. Move over. Don't even pay attention to them, and let the driver pass you. If you are concerned for your safety, just call 911 if they approach you so close. So no texting and multitasking while driving. So that's very important. The average time your eyes are off the road while texting is 5 seconds, enough to cover the entire football field. That's very interesting because many times that we drive, we look ahead and 55, or sometimes we drive 70s, and it's very quick within 5 seconds. So don't even think about texting. Parking lot safety. Keep your eyes on, ready to open the car door. And when this is my personal experience too, if you walk out to the parking lot, make sure you look around and if there's any car close to yours, and unlock only the driver's side door. Check the back seat. Check the back seat to see if anybody there. Lock all the doors immediately upon entering and get moving. Nowadays, cars are more modern that you can, when you get in, press a button and close it, or automatically close it in within how many seconds. Keep car keys on a separate key ring from home and office keys. In other words, if you go to a parking lot, a valid parking, make sure you give that particular key to them, not your home key as well. So thank you very much for participating in the course. If you have any question, please go back to Day.
Yeah, okay. If you have questions, please type in your questions in the chat. It's from Ninette and I think it's from Frederick. They are asking, do we have this emergency email blast in our area so we can alert other agents about emergency?
Nothing I know of, but I think the office can set up some kind of distribution list where you can, for instance, you have a group like, emergency staff or emergency message or something like that, and you send to that, and they can send it to the entire group. You can set it in your office, things like that. For instance, in our office, we do have a distribution list for membership, and if you send to membership, it will automatically go into all the staff. So similarly, you can do something like that.
Oh, okay, we can set it up. Okay, another one, I think Ninette has another question. I think the officer answered. Says, how do we track other agents? Some question like that. Do you use GPS, right? I think Albert said that in class. It says you can use GPS to track.
Yeah, in the Apple, you can use the Find Me feature that you can, if you share with them. And then probably because of the agent, you don't share it permanently, just like you share with your family member.
Yeah.
On the temporary base, you can just share with the receptionist or share with your brokers temporary during that session. Yeah, you can turn on the Find Me feature. I don't know about Android. It might have a same feature there too.
I use Android. I think I have one. so my husband can track me where I am. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, anybody else has questions? Okay, if not, thank you, Albert, for sharing this useful, important, and proactive information on how to protect ourselves when we are out meeting our clients. Thank you, Albert.
Thank you.
Okay, now the floor goes to the next person, to Pauline.
Thank you, Bernadette and Albert, for giving us so wonderful presentation. And now I want to invite our education committee member, Jeff Huang, to introduce our third speaker. Well, very popular, Mario Manzanilla. And Jeff, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Pauline. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jeff Huang from eXp Realty. I'm happy to introduce our next guest speaker, Mario Manzanilla. Mario is a loan officer and consultant with over 20 years of experience helping people build financial security by eliminating mortgage payments, buying a home, stretching retirement savings, preserving investments, delaying taking Social Security for greater benefits, and creating a lifelong growing safety net. Mario has done several real estate financial presentations and taught real estate courses and seminar at Cerritos College, Pasadena City College, their Learning Annex, our organization, the board, West San Gabriel Valley Realtors, Temple City School District. Mario attended LaSalle High School, UCLA, and graduated from Cal State University, Los Angeles with a BA degree in economics. Mario is a WSGV affiliate chair and affiliate of the year. He also has been a LAC board secretary, Toastmaster certification, and soon to be certified as a transformational coach from Chris Howard, a personal development in CO. Family man, he enjoys soccer games and tournaments. Mario is an avid martial artist holding a 3rd degree black belt in karate from the Sotakui Kubota International Karate Association, and recently has been training in Aikido weapons, Gubutan, a self-defense practice tool, and enjoys Zazen meditation. Mario loves experiencing different culture and attends many cultural events throughout the year with his wife and son, as well as traveling locally and internationally. Let's give a very warm welcome to our guest speaker, Mario. Mario, the floor is yours.
Today, first I want to thank you for this opportunity. I just want to let you know today I'm not wearing my loan officer cap. I'm wearing my martial artist cap here. I have over 40 years of experience in martial arts with Master Soke Takayuki Kubota here from Kumamoto, Japan, and several other masters, and some even world champions. Benny Dijet Wakides, who was for many years the world champion in full contact. I have the opportunity to train with him for a couple of years. Anyway, I come from that kind of a background now. And on the last few years, you know, as I'm getting older, I used to compete a lot. And my joints got a little bit tight. And, you know, I cannot do the same fancy moves and all of this stuff that I used to do 15 years ago. So I kind of changed my approach and started looking into the self-defense aspect of the martial arts. Now, as you have seen from the 2 previous presentations from Albert and the sheriffs, they looked at the self-defense portion of it is very comprehensive. It's not just the physical aspect. And my presentation today actually has to do literally with the non-physical aspect of the presentation. It is called the color code awareness. I'm actually, obviously my PowerPoint presentation has the explanations, but since, you know, I will might as well save a little bit of time here. I'll explain it to you what that is, summarize it in a way. The color code was really developed by the U.S. government from the Marine Corps and was revised after the 9/11 terrorist attacks that happened obviously in 9/11 and year 2000. or 2000 round, I forgot actually, but anyway, and this color code is quite interesting because it kind of summarizes some of the stuff that Albert and the sheriff did in a very simplistic way. Now, the importance of that, of this color code, is just basically doing an assessment, and I think I heard that over and over, of your immediate environment. Whether you're in real estate or not, you could be at Costco walking, you could be at, let me give you a quick example of this. Yesterday, I don't know if some of you have the Nextdoor, you know, that website, everybody kind of connects within the neighbor and they tell you what's going on. Well, yesterday somebody sent, and it can happen this anywhere, sent under the Nextdoor, said, today, I'm just actually reading, today I was walking my dog in San Marino on Lorraine and in between St. Albans and this other avenue in plain daylight when a man followed me and started following me. So as you can see, you could be walking, you could be in Costco, you could be anywhere. What was I going to say? It does not necessarily mean just in open houses. You could be going to your car, you know, and what this color code of awareness is just rather simple. I'll start with color white. Color white is when we are totally unaware. And you can see many people. The other day I was around here driving on Garvey and Monterey Park, and I saw this fellow crossing the street on his cell phone, just looking at his cell phone, not paying attention of any of the traffic. Now, is that color white? Absolutely. He is totally unaware of his surroundings. This guy could have got killed just by somebody going through, you know, and not paying attention at all of his surroundings. So the color white is when we're totally unaware, we don't pay attention to what's around. And what that happens is that this kind of, like Albert mentioned, the predators, they observe those kind of things. When you're not in aware of your surroundings, they typically have the tendency, oh, here is a victim, because they know that they can come in and snap. Now, does that happen everywhere? Well, look, right around here in San Gabriel, just about maybe 6 weeks ago, some lady was, one of the local markets, she was paying and somebody just came and just ripped her purse just right off the bat, that quick, right? Now, somebody must have been kind of looking into that, you know, and it, like Albert would say, there was no, those guys have no mercy. But they look at who they may attack, you know, in most cases, not necessarily all the time. Sometimes it's at random, sometimes. So when you're unaware, you're in white, you basically have no idea, and you really could be a very good target for a predator because they do observe. Most of them, as the sheriff said, what is their I even jotted down. This basically says, okay, you create an opportunity, basically, you know, because is the motive plus the opportunity. That's the opportunity. You're not aware. You know, you could be in a mall, you could be anywhere. So that's a lot of people, we tend to operate on color white. Now we go to color yellow. Yellow is then when you are aware of your surroundings. Now, what does that mean, aware of your surroundings? And by the way, doesn't mean that when you're doing everything, what have you, you're like panicky all the time. That's not the point. When when I'm out of the house, anywhere now that, you know, most of the time, I would say quite a 99% of the time, I'm aware of my surroundings, whether I go to Costco, whether I go to the mall, sports event, you know, even the parking lots at nighttime, after shopping in a supermarket. Okay, I just look around and just kind of brief with my eyes. I'm not panicky or anything. And I say, who is around me? You know, who's the cars that are going by and who's around me. So I'm aware of my surroundings. It doesn't matter where you are. You could be in even in the sports events where it's even crowded. Sometimes it's even harder to be. One time I was interested. I was at the Los Angeles Football Club soccer game. They were playing against the Galaxy, and I was said, "Oh, I gotta go to the restroom." And to go there, it was so crowded. Nobody could even move. There was, I mean, you could really. And I said, "Oh my gosh, if somebody starts something here, where do I go? You know, there is nowhere to move here, and people are going to be dropping on the floor." You know, you start, you know, I wasn't panicking. I was just becoming aware of what would happen if something were to happen, you know, and it was just a thought that crossed my mind. That's, by the way, that's the yellow. You're aware of your surroundings. Walking at night, when you shop, the shopping malls or everything. Just to give you an example, I think about a month ago also, down in shopping mall, there was a lady that was just actually going to her car from shopping. A car, I don't know if you saw it on the news, a car just stopped right in front of her. A lady came out. This was all practice. They came out and she started pushing each other, and she just happened to assess the situation and ran. And that's what probably, you know, otherwise it could have been worse. So does not necessarily being in an open house, but even in an open house, when, you know, as you have to kind of look around and to, okay, who is this potential person? It's hard to see because as you start getting closer and sometimes you shake their hands and, you know, and we have it's a little bit difficult to kind of, you have to follow your gut feelings. 99% of the time, I mean, I would say a good percentage of the time, you know, it's not going to be an attack, but hopefully if you are in cold yellow, you can start thinking of an assessment to prepare for any attack, regardless of your self-defense ability or not. You know, another thing that it was mentioned sometime, I think in the previous, one of the previous safety summits, actually, I believe Albert mentioned this, or maybe the other sheriffs. In the open houses, I heard that some people, you know, when they're showing the house and the kitchen, they have those blocks with their knives. Well, hello, that already there is some tools for somebody once you give them a ton of knives over there ready to go, you know. So this is the kind of alertness type of things that you know, is the paying attention. It doesn't mean panicking, but you do the assessment to potentially identify threats, that like that lady in San Marino when she was walking her dog and somebody was following her. So basically what I'm saying is, don't be blinded, color white, where you're just not even paying attention, because that lady could have been a victim, you see? So but just by kind of looking at that, she says, uh-oh, might be happening. And even though it may not even happen or prevent it. So a lot can be prevented just by knowing this, okay? Now, we move to color orange. Color orange is a little bit more intense, where you kind of have seen and says, uh-oh, this is a little bit more dangerous. I have identified a potential threat. These guys are getting close by. They're drinking beer in the parking lot. I'm parking right next to them. Hopefully they are good guys. How do I gonna get into my car? You know, and how do I keep my distance from that? So you already assess that a situation, even though it may not be a potential, I mean, it may be a potential threat, but you said, okay, if this guy start doing something, I'm gonna run, or I'm gonna have to do this, you know, would you start kind of doing that kind of an assessment? So the key of it, that's why it's called the color code of awareness, right? Now, we jumped into now color red. Now you have identified a threat, and this could be, by the way, while driving. You could be driving and you go to the stoplight and you look at these guys on the other side, and there's 4 guys in their car and they're drinking or whatever, you know, they're blasting music, and one of them gets out of their car, even though when there's a stop sign, to approach you. Now, would that be a little bit threatening there? Well, you don't know what they're gonna do, right? So it's like, uh-oh, where is this guy getting out of their car? So can you see that it's not, you could be driving to an open house and this could happen. Now, the other thing is, looking at where you are in the neighborhoods. Those not necessarily bad neighborhoods or something, but even in downtown LA, you could be walking, and sometimes I go downtown LA, and yes, there's some homeless and stuff. Are all of the homeless criminals or stuff? No. But in the other hand, is you don't know their mental state, or will they attack or not. So it's being aware to prevent, right? That's what the color of the orange. So if you see a potential threat, uh-oh, this guy is coming towards me and he's very close. And if you're in your cell phone and you're unaware, you're definitely a potential victim. So on color red, there is a potential that they're going to attack. You know, so you really do that assessment. Okay, what do I have? What tools do I have? And like Albert said, and I will address that in a few moments. I personally, I carry, because it's not mentioned in, you know, everybody that carries knives, pepper spray, which by the way, I carry this tiny little thing is pepper spray. And 4 feet away, notice that this is the thing for my car. So that's one tool, right? Pepper spray, which by the way, I bought it with the gift certificate that I got from the board, you know, one of those Amazon gift certificates. So there you are, there's one of the products of that. And the other tool that I have, and I will mention that a little bit more, is the Kubotan. Now, it's not even mentioned as a weapon, but this one for Ed Davis, when he was the police chief, hired Mr. Kubota, because this was initially for the police officers to do mainly arrest, not striking and all of these moves that are done now. It's very inconspicuous. You can see that nobody even thinks of it as a weapon. And Albert mentioned a really good point there. He said, you know, most weapons, including this pepper spray, somebody grabs this out of you, they can use it against you, whether it's a gun, knife, anything that they know. Even those Kubotans, you have to be careful. This is the original Kubotan. Some of them are pointed. Anything that is pointed, somebody will identify it as a weapon. This is not, okay? But in reality, it is a weapon. A lot of police officers will recognize this as a weapon, and they will say, what's that? You know, but the good thing is also a keychain. Notice that on the keychain here, I don't have any little bears or anything. This is actually for striking. This is another subject, but those are some of the tools that could help prevent an attack. By the way, you could be sitting on your car, and that's why I have one. This is for my car keys, and I have the pepper spray. You can either somebody attacks you coming from your car like that, guys, so they're trying to attack you, can pepper spray and then take off, or you can use the Kubotan even when this keys are in the drive, and then I have the Kubotan here. I can strike this way and then take off. You see, even and just take off. Do you need a lot of martial arts experience, 40 years of experience to learn the Kubotan? No, reality is about 2 hours, and you can practice, 5 minutes, even on your open houses. There's nobody there, you're getting bored. You can practice your Kubotan techniques. You know, that's how easy. And I'm not promoting the Kubotan, by the way. I'm just sharing some potential tools that for self-defense. And hopefully you never really get into any of those. That's why this prevention, the color code of awareness is really designed for. The other one, color red is obviously you identified a threat and they're really almost coming after you. At that point, you start saying, oh, this guy is coming after me. I'm gonna have my Kubotan ready, or because I'm in my car, and if he happens to stick his hand and try to put it on my neck, I just gonna strike and then whoop, go. Or if you have your pepper spray, and go. Type this kind of a move, you don't wanna really, they're not designed to get in there and to confront and start getting into major fights, although you can do that with some of these tools. Color black, obviously, is the confrontation, which you have no choice. Like Albert said, it's a flight or fight response, At that point, just like that lady that happened that the sheriffs put, what happened in Encino, the lady this guy just went and pushed her. Now, that was totally totally unexpected. What they knew is that this person, and this is what the awareness, this color code comes in. If you know that this person, if you happen to know that this person he's been going around open houses looking for things, kind of suspicious activity, that's an awareness in itself, you know. And so, okay, if I were to be that real estate agent, I'll be on call yellow, you know, and say, oh, I'm going to stay a little bit away from this guy, maybe 4 or 5 feet away, and not to get too close. And especially when he started talking, and you can see that perhaps that could have been prevented, because those attacks come in as surprise. And that guy was already a predator. He knew what he was going after. She thought, okay, it's just a regular client. It looks good, and you know, and his appearance is a little older. So, but you saw what happened. Boom, surprise, pushed her right into the ground, right? So, and now at that point, she had to either fight or flight, you know, the situation. So that's color black. So those are the 5 awareness colors. You can actually Google that, and I do have the presentation, which basically goes over what I just did, you know, on those colors. My point is, wherever you go, open house, the parking lots after shopping. Now Christmas is coming, you know, Halloween, they're already advertising, and then Thanksgiving. You know, just be aware of your surroundings, because as you can see, there is a lot of little things that could be they will catch you by surprise. And I'm not saying be in panic mode, because that's not the case. It's just awareness. What's around me? Oh, gee, I see 4 guys here in Alhambra, I believe by the bank, what is it? The Bank of the West there was one guy that was going to use the ATM. And actually, he shared it. It was on the next door. He said, I was going to share the ATM, and I saw 4 guys parked right behind me, drinking beer. One of them came out, and he went around and started saying, I looked at it kind of suspicious, and I left. You see, instead of going and using the ATM and put himself in a potential situation, you know, the guys apparently looked like no threat, but he didn't take a chance to become a threat, maybe. You see, that's what it means. So that could happen even using the ATM, open houses, ATM at night, you know. It's a complex, but your gut feeling should, you know, it's just that awareness that it should be a part of it, you know, to prevent, which is the main purpose. So you don't go into the next stages where you eventually may have to use the Kubotan or any of these tools, you know. Lastly, I will have to say this, you know, and this would have been a great picture, because for me, what I did is there's a story of a Zen master, and the student and the Zen master. The student asked the Zen master, "Master, all you do is you talk about peace all the time, but all you do is teach me how to fight. How do you reconcile the two?" And the Zen master, you know, they're very wisdom type of guys. He says, "I'd rather you be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war." You guys get that? I'd rather you be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. That's exactly what we just discussed throughout this whole thing. You become a warrior, whether you're in an open house, whether you are in anywhere, and you're aware of your surroundings. You try to prevent this type of situations, and hopefully, I spoke with one of the karate greats that I know. He created a video, the 9 concepts of self-defense, principles of aggressive reaction. I spoke with him and said, I know those because I have practiced it with him. I said, you know what? Maybe I teach that at the board.